Hello everyone and welcome back to Sweet Mac Creations, where I show you some of my epic fails, some of my greatest successes. Today I am showing you my strawberry and lemon curd macarons. These are macarons that I am really good at, so I'm not gonna fake the funk. Like, this is not a challenge for me. This is actually a macaron that I could whip up in like a couple hours, and only a couple hours because it takes such a long time to bake macarons in general. But the fillings and everything I'm really good at. Now, I'm not going to show the fillings today, how I make them, because I made them ahead of time, my lemon curd and my strawberry reduction. And my strawberry reduction, I actually showed how I made it in my burger and hot dog macaron fillings video. So if you have not seen that video, please subscribe to my channel and also go and check out that video earlier in my videos that I've done before. But here I'm just doing the basic macaronage. I'm just doing my powdered sugar, and I'm doing my almond flour, and then I'm taking my egg whites and my sugars, and then I'm just gonna make a meringue, a simple meringue, and put it all together to make my macaronage. And you can see here that I'm just melting that sugar right into my egg whites. I tend to go the Swiss meringue route most of the time when I'm trying to do a big batch of macarons, because I find it to be easier. A lot of YouTubers who do macarons say that French macarons are easier, and that I think that French macarons are actually harder. I think that they just don't whip up like Swiss macaron meringue does, or Swiss meringue whips up. I feel like it whips up quickly. I don't have to wait, you know, a whole hour for my meringue to cool down. It just whips up, and just like that, it's cooled down, and I can just put as many colors as I want and do as many mixtures that I want to do. So I really enjoy this process, guys. If you watch my videos, you know that I just love doing the meringue. I love doing the macaronage. I love mixing those ingredients together. It's like a successful feeling inside of me. There's nothing like when you know what you're doing and you could do it efficiently. Like the way I'm doing these macarons, I'm just so efficient at all the steps at this point that it doesn't even phase me. With my burger and hot dog macarons, I was kind of outside of my element, so I didn't really know what to do. But here, I know exactly what to do. I know how much food coloring, how much dry ingredients I need to incorporate. I know how to do this. I've done it so many times, and I've done many orders. Like, people will order my macarons sometimes, and I am not a seller, or you know, I don't have a business where I'm selling the macarons. But like most of the time, like people that I know, like family, they'll, you know, ask me to make them for birthday parties, picnics, and things like that. So instead of me rambling on, let me just continue talking to you guys about what's actually going on in the video. I have this macaronage nice and, like, you know, just look at that macaronage. Look at it. It's just like just oozing on there. It's like my favorite thing to do in the process, just to see the completed macaronage product there, and putting it into my piping bag, getting it ready to go so that I can get it on my my baking mat, my silicone mat. And at this point, I'm just doing what I know best, like I told you guys. And in this next clip, you're going to see me piping on the macarons. There's nothing special going on here. It's not like my watermelon macarons that you guys saw me do, where I was like piping three different colors. Like, this is my comfort zone. It's my space. I know what the outcome is going to be. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't always have perfect macarons. Like, my macarons do crack every once in a while when I do a recipe. And sometimes that just has to do with setting time and the waiting time in between baking each of these sheets. Sometimes I get it wrong, somebody distracts me, or I forget to set a timer, or something happens that it just ruins one of my batches of macarons. I'm not gonna lie, like, I am not perfect. I make mistakes sometimes, but I try my very best to streamline the process and make sure that I'm doing everything as correct as possible. And these are my last macarons that I'm going to be doing for the picnic series, because the picnic is tomorrow. And I'm going to be setting these up on a display, and you'll see the display at the end of this video, but you won't see the completed display until later on. So If you're watching this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you can get notifications of all the videos that I put up, and you'll be able to see the full display with my orange cream macarons. You'll get to see my watermelon macarons, my strawberry, my lemon curd, and you'll get to see my hot dog and hamburger creations that I did. So yeah, I just work here efficiently, piping these macarons here and allowing them to set. Usually takes like 30 minutes depending on the humidity. If after 30 minutes it doesn't set, I just place like one of these small little desk fans there to kind of let them like dehydrate and dry out, because you want the top of those shells to be glazed over very nicely before you put them in the oven. And so here, my macarons are fresh out the oven, and I'm just putting them inside of that plastic container there, and it's freezer safe. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make these ahead of time, I'll freeze them, and while I'm making the fillings, then they're nice and stored in the freezer. And you can see my hot dog macarons kind of sitting underneath those shells. And it's only because I have a limited space in my freezer, so I can only use a limited number of containers to store my macarons. Here I'm putting my food coloring in another Swiss meringue that I'm whipping up, and I'm putting some pink food coloring because of course these are going to be my strawberry macarons. Yay for all you strawberry fans that are out there who just love strawberry flavor. I'm actually thinking of doing a video very soon where I'm going to do a rendition of these strawberry cream macarons and make them more like a strawberry shortcake macaron with like shortcake crumbs incorporated on the outside of the cream. And I'll show you guys how that works when that video comes out, because it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to venture off a little bit and go off the script of my recipe and try to do something different. So yeah, again, I love this process. I love the whipping part. It's just, it's nice to see all the ingredients come together so seamlessly. Yeah, I don't like failing. Failing is like one of my biggest fears, is like the fear of failure. So if I can do something successful, that's awesome. But when I fail at something, it really, really bothers me a lot. So I've been learning through this process, because macarons really do teach you some lifelong lessons about patience, about failures, and you kind of get over it and understand that failure is going to happen. There's nothing you can do about certain failures. But look at this, guys. Like, I'm just folding those ingredients, folding those dry ingredients along with the meringue. And I test it out. I make sure that it's the right consistency every single time. So you can see me just mixing here and knocking out some of that air inside of that macaronage there on the side of the bowl, and just kind of like mixing it. I kind of do like the figure-8 method, where I'll let it drip down and see if it makes like that figure-8 shape right before piping it into, or filling it inside of my piping bag. I typically try to utilize as much space as I can in my piping bag. You can see I always struggle with my piping bags because I overfill them, but it's because I try to utilize so much space, because if you leave the macaronage out to dry, it's going to ruin the whole mixture. So if I can get it all in one piping bag, then it's awesome. And you can see I've piped these macarons. The ones on the bottom there, they've dried out for a considerable amount of time, maybe like 15-20 minutes. And then I moved on to the second piping mat or baking mat on the top. And I'm just making sure that they all have an appropriate amount of time to dry out and to set. Because if they don't dry out and set before putting them in the oven, then you get macarons that either they explode in the oven, or they'll crack, or they'll just look horrific. And you want some good macarons that are going to have some good feet on them. And this process where you see me kind of like slamming the mat and kind of like I'm taking the sides and like flip flopping them like that, it's to get some of those air bubbles out of the macarons. And then I take like a toothpick or a pen and I start popping them on the top to make sure that there's no air bubbles, because that can also crack your macarons and cause some problems. But I try not to overdo it because the more you mess with these, the flatter the macaronage will set on that baking mat, and you just don't want that. So here I have my butter and sugar mixture because I'm making a buttercream. And with these two varieties of macarons, like the lemon curd and the strawberry cream mixture, they're basically the same macaron that I'm making. I'm making the same filling for each of them, except that in the center of the fillings, and you'll see this in just a moment, the center of the filling I leave open so that I can drop in like a dollop of lemon curd and strawberry reduction inside of the macaron. So it's a nice little surprise for the people who actually eat these macarons. It's like a burst of strawberry flavor and a burst of lemony flavor inside these macarons. And when they look at the filling on the outside, it's deceiving because it's like this white filling that surrounds like that oozy center of lemon curd and strawberry reduction. It's quite the experience in my opinion. But I like doing this basic recipe because I know it like the back of my hand. So I'm just whipping up this buttercream, but I also add cream cheese to the mixture so that it has like a cheesecake kind of consistency and taste to it. So I'm going ahead and I'm piping or placing that into my piping bag, and I'm ready to pipe these beauties up, guys. Try to match up those shells, place them on my baking mat, and then I'll separate them. And then you're gonna see that I'm gonna start piping in that cream cheese butter cream mixture inside of my piping bag. So yeah, I like to keep the rest of them in the freezer while I'm working with these because I don't want anything to thaw out. I want it to be as fresh as possible coming out of the freezer and ready to set on my tiered display. And so here you can see I'm kind of like making like a little bit of a hole, like of a donut hole type thing where I pipe it around, but I leave the center open to put in the actual strawberry flavor or the lemon curd flavor. So this piping tip was actually pretty huge. So it was very hard to get enough space in the middle there. But you can see that I'm just turning those macarons and just piping that buttercream on there. And then I take like the end of a fork, and that jar right there is the strawberry reduction that I made in one of my previous videos. And you just have this nice like gooey center of strawberry. It is so delicious. I don't know if I have any strawberry fans out there, but strawberry is one of my favorite flavors to feast on. So I just close up these macarons. Now I want to try these again in another video, except I want to put strawberry shortcake crumbs on the side, like stick them on the side. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but you guys, if you follow me, you'll see what the process is. And look, underneath all that are the macarons that I made, the watermelon, the orange cream, and now I'm adding my strawberry flavored ones, and sooner or later I'll add my lemon curd macarons. It's going to be quite the picnic, and I can't wait for all my friends and family to see all of the creations that I have made. I think it's going to be around like 70 to 80 macarons by the time I'm done with all of these, because I also have my burger macarons and my hot dog macarons to show everyone. And I think I had around 15 to 20 burger macarons, and I had about the same amount of hot dog macarons as well. So there's going to be like 70 to 80 macarons to serve at this party, but there's going to be well over 100 people. So I think that they're going to all be gone within a couple of minutes, because there are going to probably be people who are going to want to take more than one macaron, I can imagine. And I'm not saying that to be, like just boastful and prideful, but I mean, I can rarely keep my fingers away from my own desserts, let alone when I'm serving them to other people. But yeah, I'm just doing the same process that I did with the strawberry macarons. I'm just piping that buttercream cream cheese frosting, and here I'm just putting a dollop of homemade lemon curd, I'd like to do a video where I show you guys how I make this lemon curd. If you want to see that, please comment down in the comments below and let me know if there's anything you want me to go into more detail with. I'd be more than happy to show anybody how the process that I do. And even if you want like a full, thorough recipe video, I can do that for you guys too, most definitely. And so after finishing these, I just put them on my display and I set them out and I alternated these colors like the yellow and pink and yellow and pink, kind of create a pattern there. Maybe I can teach my kids a lesson about patterns using macarons. I just thought about that right now while doing this voiceover for you guys. But yeah, this is a three-tiered display that I use for a lot of parties and events that I do for other people. And it actually makes for a really, really good display, but it never fits the amount of macarons that people actually order for their events. So I always have my Tupperware filled with macarons, and I tell them just fill it as you go because it never fits all the macarons. But I think these came out wonderful, and I'm glad you guys joined me. So have a great day, and hope to see you guys soon.